Jurassic here, and I'm back. And right now I'm kind of whispering because it's pretty late at night, and I'm trying to keep my voice down. So I got back from watching Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and yeah, today is the fifth episode, I believe, fifth or fourth, or I'm pretty sure, yeah, fifth episode. There we go, the fifth episode of Millennium Week, and we are coming to a close. We only have two movies left, but right now we're gonna talk about Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. So I just came back from watching it. The plot of the movie is basically that JSDF is building a new giant robot that would, be enough to fight back Godzilla after Japan has had years of monster attacks, and they use the bones of the original Godzilla from 1954 as the skeleton structure for this new cyborg mech, which they dubbed Kiru. And as Godzilla comes to Tokyo, try to attack, Kiru, goes haywire and starts malfunctioning because of the soul of the original Godzilla, taking it over, and the human characters must scramble to, take it back to control and then fight back Godzilla. That's basically the plot of the movie, and I kind of spoiled it. So right off the bat, you're kind of wondering yourself then, with a movie like this, you're kind of wondering, is it as grand and epic as GMK, or is it as disappointing and just kind of forgettable to sit through like Godzilla vs. Megaguirus? Or is it in the middle like this one? I would say that it's kind of in the middle, honestly. I'm a bit mixed about it. I mean, I'd enjoy the movie. I think it was pretty fun to sit through, but I don't know, I'm just a bit conflicted with the movie. On one hand, I really did like the concept of Mechagodzilla, or Kiru as he's known in this movie, and I really bought into his whole concept of that that humanity used the bones of the original Godzilla to build around him, and that he's run by DNA computers that sequence with the original Godzilla's DNA from the bones that they found. Thought that was a pretty cool concept. I really liked that idea. Also really liked the idea of how Mechagodzilla goes rogue in this movie, and that the original Godzilla's bones still exist, or I mean, the original Godzilla's soul still exists in the bones, and they manage to take control of Mechagodzilla, and he starts acting like Godzilla, you know. So I really like that idea. Human characters are actually not that bad. I think the human characters were a bit more entertaining. I think the main girl protagonist, the one who is sort of given an arc in this movie, where she's like an outsider, she's driven by isolation, and she feels responsible for the past, as she was part of a military attack group, that fought against Godzilla in the past. I actually bought into that. I think she was not bad. I think she's given much more of an arc and much more of a purpose than the girl from Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, and it's not like a pain in the ass to kind of sit through. So I really bought into that. The other human characters, there's like this little girl who has this connection to, like, she holds this plant, pot of plants. I think you've seen the movie, which kind of symbolizes, like, she's like kind of a viewpoint, questioning like things about life, about humans and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm moving the camera a little bit, but still, I kind of bought into that. It's not like nuanced Shakespearean, multi-dimensional levels of intriguing, but at least the human characters were written in such a way that they were interesting, and you didn't get bored. So I bought into the human element. I bought into the whole idea behind Mechagodzilla, or Kiru, as he's referred to his movie. Kiru is a badass. Like, I really like his design. I really like the weaponry he has. I really like the sleekness and industrial look on him. He's like a mix of the Heisei and Showa era. But I personally think that this Mechagodzilla, Kiru, he's superior than the Heisei one. The Heisei one, which is this one right here, he felt a little bit more stiff. He felt like he didn't feel as mobile, as agile as this one. This one was very agile. He was able to move around. He was able to give Godzilla quite a tough time. Speaking of Godzilla, he's pretty cool as well. He's basically, he shares a similar design to the Millennium Godzilla right here, the Godzilla from Godzilla 2000 and Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Similar design, especially with the spines and the head design, but it also has a very Heisei, like influence. You can tell it has a very Heisei, design to it. And this Godzilla is motivated to come back to attack Japan, to kind of, because of how humanity decided to take the bones away from the original Godzilla. And this Godzilla isn't pleased about that. hates the fact that the humans took away the original bones. And so this new Godzilla right here is fighting the old Godzilla, basically. Like, it's upset that it took away the bones of that. So, yeah, I bought into the kaiju action. Effects, once again, are very good. I really like the suitmation and how the practical effects blend in. There are some CG elements. Some of the CG elements do work, and some of the CG doesn't quite work. Should be kind of noted that these movies weren't made with a huge high budget, and that I don't think as much attention was given to the CG as with the practical and the suitmation. But yeah, for the most part, it looks really good. Now I do want to get to the negatives, and here's where my conflicted opinion comes into play. It feels very rushed. I think that's probably the one big problem with this movie, is that it feels rushed. It feels a little bit underwhelming. It feels like they didn't really explain some things, like, they didn't really explain things properly, and they couldn't, like, I know that the Kiryu going haywire because, he's possessed by the original Godzilla's soul within the bones that he has. I know that's a subplot of the movie, but it literally gets resolved in like 10 minutes. Like, they literally resolve that without any problems. Like, like the humans take a break from using Kiryu. 10 minutes later, Godzilla shows up and, oh, we're using Kiryu again. I don't know, it may have just been me just kind of not paying attention, because I wasn't really paying attention in some parts of the movie, but it may have been me skipping something important about the movie. I might have to rewatch it again, actually, like, without being distracted. But yeah, I think I may have skipped something, because based on what I saw, it literally felt like they solved it in just 10 minutes. Like, they literally had no problems at all. I feel like the movie could have really, really explored that further. And I think this movie, I think it does. I think it may have done that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see this one tomorrow. So yeah, it felt very rushed. The fight, it feels a little underwhelming. It feels like they couldn't really go a little bit more all out. It wasn't like GMK, and all these other movies, even this one right here. At least it didn't feel that rushed out. At least they had time to flush out the plot and flush out things and explain things a little bit further. Especially this one. This one does a very good job of explaining things for the most part. It felt fleshed out. It felt like a ride that begins and ends. This movie right here, meanwhile, it doesn't. It feels rushed. It feels like they just wanted to get to the kaiju fights as quick as possible, which I liked. I liked them, but it felt a little underwhelming. It felt like, it felt like they couldn't really use their time properly, And I noticed that this movie, I don't know if it's just me, it shares similar plot elements to Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. They both have a character, who feels, emotional and feels kind of isolated, and feels responsible for the death of a friend at the military who fought Godzilla in the past. Godzilla and other monsters have attacked in the past in both movies. Both movies have, humanity building an ultimate super weapon designed to kill Godzilla. There's complications that go along with the machines, and yeah, these two movies, they share nearly the same plot. This one, admittedly, is a bit better than this one. This one wasn't that interesting. This one, I got into it. But yeah, I did actually notice that they both share pretty similar plot lines. I don't know if it's just me though, but I definitely noticed those plot lines there. So overall, to recap, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, it's not that bad. I would say it falls somewhere in the middle, but like in the upper middle. I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. Overall, it does have, pretty intriguing concepts, especially around Kiryu. Human characters were decent. The whole kaiju action is definitely the best thing to look for, but it feels rushed. It feels a bit underwhelming. It feels like they didn't really took their time properly, and they just wanted to get through the movie, finish it as fast as possible. This is actually the shortest movie that I have out of all those 7 movies. It only runs an hour and 25 minutes long, if you don't count the credits, ending credits. Yeah, it's only an hour and 25 minutes, and it felt like that. Like, it went by fast like that. It went by really quick, and I could try to comprehend the things that I saw in the movie, but, it just felt rushed. Like, it felt really, like, it went by like that quickly. So yeah. So overall, yeah, the movie was somewhere in the middle, but it wasn't painful or really that exciting to sit through. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on Godzilla X Mechagodzilla. So, what do you guys think about the movie? Do you guys liked it, hated it, or did you feel the same as I was? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for my final two reviews right here, Tokyo SOS and Final Wars. Which I'm doing in the next 2 days. So stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you guys later.